I think we are live. Just checking my audio video just to make sure. Oops, super. Audio is loud and clear. I'm just going to share my screen with. All right. So just opening up my chat. Remember the chat and just forwarding it to my people out here. There we go. Right. Okay. So welcome to episode number 77. We are looking at how to increase emotional intelligence using brain skills. And this is one such initiatives to let you know, to increase your awareness in terms of how to tap into what are the existing left brain skills and what are the right brain and midbrain skills. So you will be able to tap into those brain power within you at the necessary time. And we are looking at this as a series of discussing key brain talents that is most needed for the 21st century skill. At this point of time, we are talking about risk tolerance, and this episode is dedicated to entrepreneurs. And in essence of having that entrepreneurial spirit, that confidence, which allows them to take that bold decisions. Am I right? We being an entrepreneur, whether it is a digital entrepreneur or a manufacturing or a physical business entrepreneur, we all deal with uncertainties, right? Especially if it is a business, it is uncertainty. Uncertainty is inevitable in business. So how are we going to equip ourselves to handle that particular zone of business? Not everything is a bed of roses, right? Definitely not when you are in the entrepreneurship journey, whether you are in the starting stage or launching stage or expansion stage, or even if you have hit that sweet spot. Next, what is the question? But when you have to deal with that, when you have to be at par and above par, you will have to enter into the zone of unknown uncertainties, definitely. And uncertainties is not a positive welcome, not always a positive welcome. It could be based on regulations, it could be based on geopolitics, it could be based on economic crisis, or it could be from natural calamities. So sometimes even people, induced problems can be very cloudy for a business entrepreneur to take a call. So that is the time that you need a superpower in you to be able to help you. Of course, there are external support, but then there is something within you to be able to, get you that gut feeling or that spirit, that confidence for you to just believe in yourself and take that leap of faith. So today we're going to see if you are a person who's struggling to take that decision making in uncertain times, when there is so much of self doubt, when there is so much of, everything is becoming fast paced and highly competitive, there is always a FOMO around, right? What is next and how are we going to, keep ourselves competitive? And when you have that self, when you're hitting at the bottom rock, when you don't know your capacity, fullest potential, and when you always doubt yourself, that is where you also have to take that, business moves. So it is counterintuitive. How will you do it? And if you want to lead with confidence, even when the future is unclear, you need to have that certain, I would say, brain talents, because this entire series is dedicated for brain talents. So I'm going to call this brain power, brain skills, brain talents. And we have been seeing, in this episode of 100 Days with Me, we have started looking at resilience. We have started with critical thinking, problem solving, proactivity, emotional agility, empathy, and we even saw risk taking in different angles. So why are we doing deeper and wider into one particular brain talent is because although brain powered is within all of us as a human being, when you're born you are gifted with both the hemispheres of brain. Both these sides of the brain power is constantly working in you. It all depends on how you want to operate and how much of which of the side that you are dominatingly using. So these are some foundation principles. Along with that, I want you to remember, when we're talking about raising your emotional intelligence, it is always a learnable, developed, can be developed, and it has no age, it has no gender, it has no boundaries. So that being said, anybody who's listening to this, any walks of life, it is applicable for you. And it is most demanded 21st century skill set. And when you are dealing with emotional intelligence, we are talking about emotions, which is going to drive our performance and action, right? So we need something concrete for us to, understand something, grab something, and just get into action. And that is why this series. The reason why I picked up the theme of brain skills is because when I talk about a brain skills called, for example, risk taking, if I, you know, whenever I go through some examples based on my experience or any human being experience in different walks of life, you'll be able to immediately relate, instead of saying those words which doesn't relate in your mind that very clearly and quickly. So that is why brain skills is so relatable, so needed, and it is so very easy for you to adapt it. Okay, in this episode we'll also see some brain hacks where it'll be a shortcut for you. If you just apply it, it's going to work for you. And you'll also see some case study for who it has worked really well. If it's working for somebody else, it should be working for you also if you're walking in the same path. So we're going to see that personality, and we're going to inspire, observe those skill set, and see what can be, applied in your respective walks of life. Okay. With that note, I'm going to be sharing my screen, and I want you to remember, emotional intelligence is not just needed for an adult; it is also needed for um, any walks of life, as I said. Because I recently had a question from a young adult who's going through some issues in terms of deciding whether they have to pursue AI or, in short, that is a summary. But they wanted to decide on their career, and there is a fear in that question. So first thing it struck me that even though I dedicated this entire series for the moms in the beginning, but it is important that we need to be able to address all walks of life, and that is why I changed the modality of rendering the message that it is applicable for everybody. And now to answer that question in terms of choosing the, AI is right or not, is something that we have to deal with person to person in terms of their interest, and, where are they located and what is their future thinking. It's like in business, digital business sense, we call this as decoding their niche, their superpower. Okay. It can happen even for a young youth. So youth, adult, we have something in emotional intelligence. The same report that AI generated adult assessment report can still be generated for a youth who's somewhere between 12 to 18. We can still consider as youth adult, and there will be personalized report will be generated for them. So you can analyze what kind of brain styles you have, and what is your strength, and what is could be something area of improvement that you need to work on. And from there, we can even choose your academics, because there are some talents innate in you, and there are some career choices that can be aligned to it. In essence, if you go with the innate talent, in other words, it's called passion, and you can cultivate that as a passion itself. And passion can be turned as a profession. And what if you have a career match which aligns with your talent and passion? So that is a way to go about. So that is a secret of using these AI generated psychometric tools of emotional intelligence. There are so many tools for other skill set. Okay. I'm talking about essentially how to manage your emotions and how is it reflecting in your brain styles, because brain style is, everybody, consciously or unconsciously, we are using our patterns, and it is becoming autopilot. If only you are able to tap into that and become present, be able to use all these talents in your respective walks of life, then you are already emotionally intelligent, managing your emotions very smartly. Okay. With that being said, let's see what is it for today. And I want to know whether I can share my screen here and it's visible for you. Okay, we are on episode number 77. Building confidence and tolerating uncertainty in business is very, very important right now. Now, let's talk about what is the confidence and what is uncertainty tolerance in terms of business. Okay, when you come to know about how do you tolerate and what is expected out of you to tolerate and in your especially in your business, and what is the general definition and what is the brain skills approach, it'll be easy for you to relate. In general, self assurance in decisions and actions using logic and data to build confidence. Keywords. Okay, self assurance, you're confident about what you're doing, why you're doing. And then during uncertainties, the same the same confidence, the same overconfidence or the confidence level that you have can be translated, can be made use of when there is a time of uncertainty. However, note these keywords: comfort with unpredictable outcomes, tap into emotional resilience and intuition. This is where emotional intelligence language differs from the general definition. Now, when I spoke about general definition, we all know that, right? Self assurance, confidence, and taking action and all that. But when I talk about emotional resilience and intuition, now that rings a bell, right? That is something, a skill or a talent. That's a key word here. So if you can tap into, coming out of that comfort zone into that unpredictable outcomes, get comfortable with that unpredictable outcomes by tapping into your emotional resilience and intuition. Now that intuition is your right brain. Emotional resilience is again your right brain. Okay, so that is why this right brain approach will help you in order to understand the logical brain, which gives you that logical analysis and data. That is where you gain confidence. You can take that you should be able to take that validation. Without having that validation, okay, it is manageable risk. I think this risk is important. So you need to be able to identify what kind of risk you have to take. If you just blindly get onto everything that you see as a risk, it is hasty decision. So your left brain is going to give you that confidence through data, but what makes you take that action is only your intuition brain and that emotional resilience brain, which will help you come bounce like a pro from a setback. Because not every risk will be turned into success also, right? You need to be able to embrace the failure to be able to take that next step and not to repeat that same mistakes. Now, let's see what is the benefit of you being confident and tolerant towards uncertainties. It improves your decision making, right? Ambiguous situations, when you can take that call, it leads you to your faster progress and increases adaptability. Quick adaptations to changing market audiences enhances the business agility and enhanced innovation. Tolerance for uncertainty encourages experiments and creative solutions. Okay, potential drawbacks. Now, everything has a plus and minus. Let's talk about some plus in the interest of time and few things which could be a drawback. One, overconfidence about risk. That can be tricky, right? Because excessive confidence without proper analysis can lead you to take poor decisions only. So you need to be able to, gauge that properly. When are those areas that you're overconfident? You cannot underestimate, you cannot overestimate the risk as well. Overestimate the risk is still okay because at least you'll be prepared. But overconfidence in terms of underestimating the risk, it's riskier. And emotional stress also, right? Constantly in uncertainty can only lead you to burnout. Please understand it is an exhaustion level. And nobody should get into that firefighting mode always. If you start enjoying, your brain start enjoying, that means there's something wrong that we need to really understand. Maybe you're creating problems instead of finding solutions. Financial risk. Accepting uncertainty can sometimes result in riskier financial decisions as well. Absolutely. It could have an implications of finances because there is a time in it, there is an effort in it, and the risk factor could be that you are involving people. It has its own implication. The importance of this in business success is first, in terms of missed opportunities. Without confidence, leaders may hesitate and miss taking that key, chances. Second thing is agility and adaptation. These are the important keywords. Make a note of it. If you are an entrepreneur at this day and age, agility, being agile is very, very important. And how are you able to adapt, to uncertainties also tells a lot about you, and it gives you the competitive edge. Leaders with uncertainty tolerance are 25% more likely to outperform their competitors. Absolutely. No, no wonder why we have to differentiate ourselves. And while there is a constant, competition around us, but there is also a differentiator, and differentiators can be these brain talents. If you have that risk tolerance, if you can, work towards that risk and manage that risk really well, wisely, then you have full eligibility to go through any uncertainties. And that's where you're going to be agile and be adaptive than your competitors. Who needs this? Entrepreneurs launching startups or expanding new markets, CEOs, the critical leadership positions, because they have to take on, high stake decisions during unpredictable conditions as well. And investors who have invested in your business, evaluating some uncertain conditions, markets, and high risk ventures. And professionals who are working and navigating career transitions in a good business. Now, let's talk about some applicability in business, more or less business, as I already said, in this fast-paced, competitive, highly competitive world, there are some things that you can do and you should do, and there are some areas that you can bypass that. But you need to understand where you're going to apply it, right? So without understanding, okay, this is the area that you need to apply the risk, then it becomes a wrong decision. You just cannot disturb the ones which are doing very good. You need to be able to have that regular communication, review, and proactive planning towards what could be the potential risk coming. So let's talk about business strategies. Like, where can you apply this confidently, the risk tolerance? Long-term planning. Develop those 5-year growth plans while you're accounting for potential market shifts. For example, Amazon, when they pivoted, or when they expanded from online e-commerce bookstores to cloud computing, it's a huge transition, huge investment, huge infrastructure, right? So it's a cloud computing giant. Is right now, they have become a giant in that, AWS has become a giant. But when they started, it was a launch time, it was unpredictable, it was uncertain. They were tapping into untapped market. It is huge risk. In fact, I heard from Jeff Bezos during a reel or somewhere, he was talking to a journalist addressing that point. For a long period, 6 to 7 years, AWS did not even see the break even. They had to go through that churn. So that level of risk, they had to manage with their own cash reserves and their own resources that they had to manage. And that's a beautiful move. That's a smart move that they, banged on the Amazon existing business line to be able to to be able to continuously fund this line of investment, business with an extra investment that you're getting. But very recently is when they become profitable. So imagine the amount of time that they have taken to be able to see it profitable. That is the risk, and that is the risk tolerance that an entrepreneur is needed to have. And market expansion. So confidently enter new territories or segments while acknowledging the inherent uncertainties also. While you're able to get into it, you should be able to acknowledge that in certain inherent, that is, it is inevitable. Only when you acknowledge, you can prepare, right? For example, Netflix. Right now, they are giant in video streaming, right? But initially, they were doing business of DVDs. They were streaming movies through DVD rental. Imagine that business is nowhere right now. It is overridden by themselves. They had pivoted. They had innovated a new, level of business that will, take over the original content production of what they were doing. So that is the risk that they have taken during that expansion. Innovation investment, right? Allocating substantial resources for R&D initiatives also. So it is not only during the launch, it is not only expansion, it is also during the research for a future product of business online services. So that also needs investment, that also needs risk tolerance. So there's Apple's continuous improvement or development of new products. That's what kept them, in the top. That's what kept them in the competitive edge all the time, because it has not only developed, sustained that product development, but also breakthrough devices like iPods and iPhones, and even MacBook. And they are coming with a lot of other ecosystems as well, right? They continuously develop and improve. Leadership decisions, mergers and acquisitions. During that M&A, right, that is also important. One key element of expansion is merger and acquisitions. And now let's see what could be the risk. Making that bold decision to acquire companies, accepting in that integration challenges. For example, Microsoft 26 billion acquisition of LinkedIn. When they took over LinkedIn, it huge transformation. They just expanded based on that collaboration itself, right? That is the smartest and brilliant move. Product launches, and not it's also important that what kind of businesses are you acquiring. It's not just the Tom, Dick, and Harry that you're acquiring. It also has to gel with your, it has to align with your value system, with your product of line of business and the demands that your existing customer has it. And then product launches. So confidently introduce new products, tolerating market reception uncertainties. Example, Apple's launch, right, of iPhone in 2007. How many of us, in fact, me for that matter, I held iPhone on my hands only after 10, 12 years of this launch, maybe. I was very strict in terms of not coming to smartphone at all. Especially the touch screen is something that I was averse at all for a long, long time. That transition took me a long time. But imagine if they launched it, and how many of us would have, had that resistance of transitioning from the conventional to this kind of market, right? So that revolutionized mobile technology despite of skepticism about consumer adoption. Typically like me, but they are right now giant. But it has taken that time, okay, for them to establish. Organizational changes, implement structure changes, managing the uncertainty of employee reactions. Example, IBM's transition from a hardware services to cloud computing. Wow. They also required extensive restructuring despite of workforce concerns. Am I right? Definitely. And innovation and R&D specific to it, strategic investment. One is commit to substantial resource to research initiatives despite unpredictable ROI. For example, Pfizer, which invested in the RNA research years before COVID occurred, ultimately leading to breakthrough vaccination technology. Now, in my mind, I go through a lot of questions like how do they even know that they are preparing, doing an R&D research of a virus which is yet to be, released. That is one thing. But then this is how vaccinations are done. So they just like that don't introduce something, especially when it relates to health. They must be going through a lot of R&D. So that is the level of risk tolerance they have. And then calculated experimentation, fostering a culture of bold experimentation where failure is viewed as a valuable lessons. So Google typically, and yesterday we saw Satya Nadella, a Microsoft founder, CEO. So they also go through that culture of experimentation in their company. So Google's 20% of time policy itself, allowing engineers to pursue their own passion projects to leading to Gmail, Google Maps, and that's how all these revolutionized products got developed because they spent 20% on their passion, which allows them to have that neuroplasticity running. Okay, so brain skills are that way. And transformative disruptions. So boldly pursue revolutionary innovators that challenge existing paradigms, creating entirely new market categories, even when facing industry skepticism or resistance. Absolutely, right? So financially also, risk is synonymous to finances. Am I right? Anybody is investing, they will know how much is the stocks ups and downs and what could be the high yielding risk and returns. Investment decisions, making strategic investments despite market volatility, trusting in long-term benefits. Tesla continual reinvestment in battery technology despite years of financial losses, which ultimately led to market leadership and profitability. And then when it comes to, absolutely, even Tesla cars, they continuously reinvested in battery technology despite of years of financial losses. I even, heard Tesla, Elon Musk speaking that they went to bankruptcy for a lot of times, especially Tesla. But they stood up because of rest of the other line of business smartly. They were able to pass through those uncertainties, right? Which ultimately lead them to be a market leader and profitability. Risk management, in financial management could be to develop a comprehensive contingency plans for various economic scenarios while strategically balancing the risk against potential rewards. For example, Coca-Cola's diversification into water, juice, and energy drinks as a hedge against declining soda consumption. Oh, I didn't know that. Coca-Cola had water, also juice other than soda is something that I did not know. Then comes team leadership. Ambiguous projects itself is something which is very riskier, right? Because guiding through teams with complex and open-ended projects with confidence. Satya Nadella leading Microsoft's cloud transformation without a clear-cut defined roadmap, empowering teams to redefine their own approach, is a classic example. Cloud computing, when they had, untapping that future markets, maybe they are allowing the teams to develop their own approach and then be able to appreciate their mistakes and learn from them and then be able to innovate. So ambiguous projects will definitely stir in some innovation. And there is a risk factor to it. Motivation. Inspire team members even when the path ahead is not clear. Right? Indra Nui, for that matter, maintaining PepsiCo's momentum during that major strategic shifts by connecting employees to larger purpose behind changes. When we spoke about Indra Nui in the previous times, especially for brain talents like agility, empathy, and resilience, we spoke a huge, it was a good case study that we did. How did she even manage that strategic moves? Being a wife, being a mother, being an empathetic leader, being a very responsible strategic decision maker. And experimentation in team leadership is also important, encouraging problem solving and trust in the process. Uh, you know, mm, okay, so there's a company which brain trust systems. Okay, all right. I'm not sure about this example, but yes, brain hacks. Let's talk about brain hacks. That's where we're going to talk about action. Now we know where to apply. Now we're going to see how to apply using shortcuts to your brain, left brain, right brain, and both the brains. Okay. So developing a growth mindset. Few days back, we saw an entire episode dedicated for growth mindset. If you haven't yet watched, please do so, and it'll definitely be insightful for you. Embrace challenge. View uncertainty as an opportunity to grow and learn. Okay, learn from setbacks. See failures as valuable experiences to contribute for success. Continuous improvement is also important. That is going to be your right brain, first one. And then this one is your left brain, where you're going to pull out all the data and gather relevant data for your strategies building. Gathering information is the first thing based on your customer insights and market data. And then analyze the trends also. You're going to use advanced analytics to identify patterns and predict outcomes and take informed decisions based on the data that you have gathered. Then again, both the brain, practicing resilience. When we started off the series, we saw logical resilience and emotional resilience as an episode. Please do watch that to be able to understand how deep we can go in terms of building that resilience. And I also have given a gift for you guys. In case you're a woman who's watching this, I have a 21 days challenge for exclusively for building resilience. Please do watch that. Okay. Emotional control. Develop techniques to stay calm under pressure. Adaptability. Cultivate flexibility in the face of unexpected challenges. And also positive outlook. Maintain optimism and focus on solutions during setbacks. That is more important. Seeking feedback with mentorship, and mentorship is both the brain. One is seeking feedback from your peers, from your manager, from your family, from your known friends. Okay. Another one is seeking mentorship from an expertise, from a subject matter. It could be a paid relationship, which has more accountability. And I would suggest have a mentor for everything in life: health, finances, relationship, business, right? Even for uh, general peace of mind in terms of emotional freedom techniques, emotional intelligence for that matter, right? Which is going to solve your individual problems and your people related problems as well. And I have a gift for women who's watching here. This is a gift exclusively for women, open throughout this March week, the March month. And that will give you a beautiful way, a very shortcut for you to improve your emotional intelligence. Apart from watching these 100 episodes, you can also join that workshop where I will be giving you a AI generated unlocking EQ report free of cost for you. Okay? Trusted advisors, constructive feedback, and shared experiences. That will be the way forward. Now, Last one could be left brain, where you're going to prepare for multiple scenarios. Although we are talking about, taking risk through different ways, you should also be prepared for multiple scenarios. Worst come worst basis, the profitable scenarios, and also the neutral ones. Best is to scenario plan. Develop strategies to various potential outcomes, assess that risk, and evaluate the likelihood and impact that it is going to give on all the parties involved and all ways. And contingency plan. The reason why we are doing this multiple scenarios is to have a backup plan. Now we are going to be talking about a case study, none other than Ratan Tata. We all know who is Ratan Tata, a legendary who led, Tata group of companies from beverages to automobiles to even non-profit. So he was a legendary in innovation and philanthropy work. Under his leadership of hard work, a lot of values that he established. He's most a people-oriented leader and is a transformative leadership styles. We have spoken good amount of time on this particular person, legendary, who just passed away recently. He's a treasure for India. Please highly go through those. Highly recommend you to go through those previous episodes. But today, when we are talking about taking risk, and essentially what we need is to be able to, you know that those kind of risk where an entrepreneur will be able to think through and take a call immediately. And what is the brain skills that this person having that kind of success in a lot of way. He even innovated Tata Nano car. There are a lot of other industries that he had starting from hospitality industries, beverages. Um, he brought, of course, the automobiles accessible to mankind, the mass to the masses. Driving a car is a privilege, and he brought that to the middle class families. So that stands out, right? Not just that, they also have a non-profit organization into education and into government initiatives. I even know that Tata's group of companies, which are into non-profit, they will be the first team to arrive during the natural calamities. How is it even possible? Because they work on data, because they work on that empathy factor, their compassion towards doing something for this nation and society. And all these are combined together, form a value system of this institution called Tata Groups, and also this person behind that thing. So let's talk about his brain talents. One is strategic thinking, using data for long-term vision for calculated risk, and emotional resilience, staying composed during high-risk decisions and uncertain markets. Bold leadership, made confident decisions for global expansions and acquisition. Now, about, if you are doubting about yourself or even have questions, okay, I'm going to keep this at the last. I have a gift for you. But now I want you to make use of these brain talents and insights, inspiration that we have gotten from our case study, from all these slides above. Also be able to adapt it in decision making, okay, in certain areas where it is very key. One, in decision making, build that knowledge, continuously expand your industry knowledge. You should know where to take risk and how to create a multiple contingency plan based on the knowledge. If you don't have the right knowledge, people cannot, your risk taking will be harmful. Okay, practice that. Make decisions regularly, starting with smaller choices. Now, decision making is one of the key competencies in emotional intelligence. Okay, first is self awareness, decision making, and finding purpose or pursuing a noble goal. These are the basic foundation of emotional intelligence. If you cannot take a decision, what is the use of being aware of yourself? You may be even aware of people around you. You may be really good in reading their emotions well. But if you cannot take a decision for yourself and for others, you are termed as a not so talented person. So we will be learning about what brain talents is needed for you to take decision making in the workshop that I will be conducting free of cost. Please do follow through and also go through the previous episodes. You will find out what are all the talents is needed. In fact, the series that I'm doing right now will let you exactly know what is the talents needed for decision making. Risk tolerance is one of the key talents. Okay, that's a cue for you. All right, reflection, analyze outcomes to improve future decision making process as well. Now, embracing uncertainty as an opportunity is your mindset game. You're going to innovation catalyst. You're going to see that uncertainty as a chance to create novel solutions, and then find market gaps, identify unmet needs in uncertain markets for business growth, and then competitive edge. Building a culture of confidence within you and around you in your business. Have that open communication, have the transparent dialogue. Okay, empower, encourage team members, and make decisions and calculated decisions. Celebrate, recognize, and reward bold initiatives regardless of outcomes. Balancing confidence and humility, that is also the right brain skills. These are all underneath, we call this as practice, human skills. Okay, this comes only in practice. Even though the talents are inborn and something can be developed, that also has to be practiced. So balancing that confidence and humility is a very, very important thing. Only having confidence, it can only lead you to overconfidence, or sometimes when you drop down, it'll be an underconfidence, low confidence. But when there is a balance in humility, you can maintain that. How you're going to do is by cultivating the self awareness, recognizing your thoughts and limitations honestly, continuously learning, stay open to new ideas and perspectives, balanced approach, combine confident decision making with willingness to adjust course. That also gives you that humility. When there is a time when you go step out, meaning when there is a setback, you need to have that humility to be able to bounce back, and that resilience skills. You should be aware of what are your failures and success first of all, and then you have to continuously learn so that you can bounce back. Whenever I have a gap, life takes over, right? Whenever there is a pause in my business, anything can happen, my health or my family situations, anything can happen. When there is a pause, I always go back to learning mode. That is how I bounce back and balance it out. Otherwise, I don't feel confident. Right? This entire series is also a learning experience for me. It builds my confidence huge. So leveraging technology also uncertainty management is a great smart way. Okay, how? Data analytics tools. It can predict trends for you and reduce that uncertainty. And AI driven insights. Leverage the artificial intelligence to to complex decision making support as well. Very, very important. Use gadgets, use technology to automate your life and business. That's the way forward, and that's how you can save your time and energy. And cloud computing, utilize scalable resources to adapt quickly to changing needs. That is in your business. If you're a solopreneur, you can do away with your AI tools only. You don't have to go for a cloud computing yet. But if you are into business, if you're handling data and people a lot, if there are inbuilt process, then for seamless transitions, you will have to have a bigger technology inbuilt. Then also some global perspectives and metrics when globally uncertainty happens. So when it is happening in North America about technological disruptions, usually the confidence building strategy can be innovation investment. Okay. And then when in Europe, regulatory changes, huge amount of changes in regulation for each and everything. That time it is important to adaptive compliance systems is important. That is a strategy that we will be taking for us. For Asia, for a country like India, rapid market growth. So we're going to build agile business models. If you are in a business mode, when you are a business entrepreneur, you look out for global locations like this, and you will understand what kind of market they are into. So when it is US, it is all technology driven, data driven. And when it's Europe, you have to abide by laws. And when it is Australia, it's a different ball game. And when it's Dubai, it's a different, oil based. And there are, of course, tax free, but then the rules are very, very clear. And in Asia, except China, China cannot be intruded at all. So India is considered as Asia, along with other small countries. There we have population as a strength. So agile business model is the one. At this point of time, if you have questions, right, on your composure, how you are when you are in uncertainty, how do you balance it out, and what kind of strategic decisions are you supported with, and do you really have a growth mindset, and so many other questions could be daunting you. So it is for me, and that's why I've compiled all these questions into one quiz format for this particular episode. Like this I've created for all the 100 episodes. Of course, it's going to take time for me to create for all the 100 episodes, but when there is a when it's out there, it's going to be ready, full fledged. It can be taken for any number of times. For example, you're taking this episode quiz today. Maybe 6 months down the lane, your answers to those questions could be different. So you can retake it again, and all the results will be published to you onto your email ID exclusively. Now, this will come to you. This will come to you lifetime access for free of cost. I want you to click the link in the description below. I don't want you to pay, but instead, what you're going to do is you're going to comment, you're going to engage with me in this episode with my audience based on what you have learned in this episode. Just top 3 points. just share it with me as a return of gift. I will give it to you, 100% free coupon code for you to access this gift. Not just that, just hang on, because this month is special for women. So we are conducting a lot of Insta Live with empowered women, empowering women. There's a whole lot of gifts available for women, free gifts. Okay. Similarly, I'm also giving you a gift for this entire March month. Whoever registers, there will be a workshop exclusive for EQ brain skills, which will help you in your automating your life and business. If you are in business, if you want to start some business, we will figure out what is your superpower, and we will also tell you how to launch your business immediately. And if you are an individual who just want to develop your emotional intelligence for your parenting, for your individual personal growth, we will do that in the 2-3 days workshop. So there's a link given below in all these descriptions. Register there, and I will see you in that. Apart from this, there are other free resources. Of course, if you haven't still subscribed to my YouTube channel, do so. I'll be more than happy to meet you every other time when we do an episode, in maybe now and even in future. And it also, you will be notified whenever when there is an episode released. I'm also doing a podcast on Spotify on the same episodes, on the fly, on the go. You can listen to it. It's a very short version, but on YouTube, it's going to be wider and deeper with a presentation mode. And there are other free resources on Instagram and LinkedIn. Make use of this. The reason why I tell you this is because you need to understand, as a human being, we go through a lot of uncertainties, whether it is life or business. Okay. And problems are very, very common. Irrespective of any, countries that you are into, any age group, any, of course, age group based on which problem struggles differ. But then if it's women, in the mid-age, problems going to be common. If it's a young adult, it's going to be common. But what I'm saying is there are two things that you need to remember. We need community support like this. Okay. So to be able to validate our queries, our worries, oh, you know what? I'm not the only one who's going through this. Second thing, you need to be able to have that continuous support. And also, third important thing, with that kind of support, you also have to be self-equipped. You need to know what to do. You need to take that action. So even though you have a support here, or if you can, fall part of community support, apart from that, you need to be able to take that bold call, right? For both these initiatives, one for improving yourself, your brain talents, and also falling part of a like-minded community, I am offering you this free workshop. Right after this workshop, you will know how to fall into that kind of a community which can keep you going for consistently, and also go through a lot of common things that you can talk to the like-minded people. You will also understand what kind of problems they are going through. I have a different set of women walking in the path of entrepreneurship, who wants to launch something from their home, want to work and contribute for their family, or they've already launched on digital and they want to improve it. Okay. Or parents and stay-at-home moms who wants to learn emotional intelligence for better parenting and better self-improvement. So for all this, I have this tool, and the best part is your entry part will be registering in the free workshop, which will not only give you that entry, it will also give you AI generated your personalized report. Make use of this and break through that uncertainty by taking the small step. Okay, rest of it we will discuss in our community. I'll see you in the next episode. See you till then. Practice taking small risks. That is more important. Okay, and in all these episodes, there could be a lot of hacks, there could be a lot of insights, but just one action that you can take is to start taking that risk starting from today. Manageable, something which you can actually handle it. So that way you are not only learning it but also able to handle it wisely when the right time